Yeah, okay, so fire away.
So, my name is Stephanie Lamline. I'm the CAO of Biomed Science Academy. We first opened in 2012 in partnership with Northeast Ohio Medical University with an idea of creating a STEM school within a academic health center so that we could share services and resources together. Our kids would be exposed to professionals in the healthcare industry, which is the enormous way, I guess, we can get our economy moving again because healthcare is an issue. Currently, right now, we are 9 through 12. However, we are opening our middle school in August, which I'm very excited about. That's very new news. So we are expanding and growing. We were the first rural STEM school in Ohio, and now there's a few more of us to join us, so that was very exciting. STEM schools are open.
You say there's other schools going to be with you in this?
There is a school opening up in Southern Ohio, and then there's Global Impact, which is in Springfield, Ohio. So there's another rural STEM school, but not biomed per se.
But it won't, will they have a connection with NeoMed then?
They will. They're independent of that.
Okay.
However, the independent STEM schools, we all work together.
We do.
To try to, we're all small, and if you are small schools, you know you have to work together to survive. And so we work and we meet and we call and how can we share resources, and Global Impact is an agricultural-based school, so we're medical-based. What can we do together to kind of expose our kids to both worlds?
Can OrNet be used to help these schools? Who knows? Who's shaking their head?
Governor, yes, certainly, OrNet forms, as you know, and it's explained well in the past, the backbone, and what we've done systematically over the years is create those middle mile and last mile strands that extend to schools. I don't know to what extent. Obviously, since you're on NeoMed's campus, you're enjoying the huge computing capacity that institution has in support of the great work we do. We do that, we try as best we can across campus.
See, with OrNet, which is located in now all parts of Ohio, you can have a real-time experience with all these schools. We will, I'm going to lay it on you to come and check it out with us. Who's Emily? Just make sure that we have our technical people talk to her about how all these STEM schools can be beneficiaries of the great stuff that's happening, for example, with NeoMed. You see what I'm saying? Because it's just like watching television. It's all online, and it is high speed, and it's unbelievable. Now, I don't know if it'll work, but I think it probably will. So you need to know about that. Now, let me ask you this question. When you decided to do this, who put this in your head?
I did.
You did. And then, so you said, we're going to do this. So when you went to them, what did they say?
Went to NeoMed?
Yeah.
I met with their financial VP of finance there, and we had a chicken salad, which was really good. And I spilled my idea, and he ate it up. And then the president, Dr. Gershon, was pitched the idea, and he was very excited because I think what I love about NeoMed and working in the administration side of that is they see that big pipeline. And if they need better med students, it's got to start lower. And so I think the partnership between Biomed and NeoMed, Dr. Gershon understood how that was important. And their board understood how it's important to take the risk, which were risky. It was a crazy idea from a teacher who taught biology. So.
But why is that crazy to say to this medical school, look, you know, why don't we hook up together and then we can get kids educated in a real way, right? That's not crazy.
I don't think it's crazy, but I understand how a lot of people think that's crazy because I think it's just so out of the norm, and everyone's really focused on certain objectives, and how does that even fit? It's that day-to-day grind that educators can get into, and it takes people in this room to think, you know, we got to rise above that and think outside the box.
Yeah, and some of this is, when I comment, really is for everybody. Look, if you want flexibility to do these kinds of things, and you want to petition or figure out a way in which you can. My great friend Buzz Imboden is a principal at my kid's school. He says, never let education get in the way of learning. And this is the kind of flexibility that I'm hungry for. How can we, as long as I'm here in the next couple of years, how can we give you the flexibility and to invest some of the ability of these doctors or whoever they are to be able to sign a sheet saying this kid deserves credit. That's a lot more important than taking some crazy test. If we either going to trust one another or we're not, right? So if you've got a doctor that's teaching, or you've got somebody that's, you know, that's putting a little less time in biology, but they're, I mean, are you kidding me? If a doctor's working with them and will sign a paper, they ought to get credit for it, don't you think?
Yes.
There are no bad ideas in this, and you're changing lives. Okay, keep going, and I'll try to shut up here. Go ahead.
So when we opened our doors, we opened with a couple goals in mind, main goals. And one of them is to build a sense of community back to high schools. We've all been to high school, that's a rough time of year, and time of years, and we really want to build this sense of community, hoping that then that reaches out to our greater communities and our families, and they can build stronger networks there. STEM focused in pedagogy, not just in discipline. So really taking that hands-on PBL kind of approach to learning so that kids can come up with a crazy idea about drones or 3D printers and then make it happen and get credit for it. And really focusing on that touchable type of experience. So we've only graduated one group of students so far, and we have close to 25,000 hours logged of research and internship experience with our students. And that was only 44 seniors last year, and I have 77 seniors this year. So it's not even a volume of children to create the hours, but it's a requirement of the school that they get at least 360 hours contact into businesses, healthcare, I mean, and the kids have to design it themselves, and then we back support that and help that work.
Now, if they're not the top of the class, can they still get in?
Absolutely, we're open enrollment.
Okay. And I think right now we have, Sarah, don't we have an ability for schools to be able to chart their own individual education path? They don't take much advantage of it, the schools don't, but isn't that correct? They can design their own, where's Wayne? Get Wayne down here.
In many ways, yes. I think what you're talking about is how students can receive credit for work that they do outside of the traditional classroom.
But I thought that parents could petition the school board and say, I want to put my kid on a different academic path and petition for that.
Yes.
See, so there is flexibility, it's just nobody knows about it, or nobody decides to do what you did. Okay, who else is going to say something? Your teacher?
Well, I'm gonna.
Oh, you're still going, okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
So we are focused on the 21st century skills and what we call restorative practices, which is our foundation of how we communicate and work in relationships with each other. And we want to make sure that that's really our threads. And the integrated teaching is something we really push as a group. High school has that silo kind of effect. You go to one class, another class, and the kids don't have any connection. That one thing I think I really push and advocate for on the administration side of the school is that we don't forget, why should language arts be talking with our chemistry teacher, our engineering teachers, and the kids work and the teachers work together and collaborate together. So having time to plan together to come up with amazing exercises. And we are a competency-based mastery learning school, so the kids don't progress until they know the content. You have to earn a certain percent to be able to move on to the next class.
Now the beauty, Randy, of competency-based, okay, so let's say you want to go up to journalism school at Ohio State. You already can show that you already know how to do this. So the key to competency-based, no, here's the key to competency-based is to demonstrate that you have competence, and you can do it over time. It's a little bit different than the way we think about education. We think competency-based education is critical for the future.
I agree.
Why would you say this?
Why is it critical? I think it can be seen in two ways. You have a very high-performing student, or maybe a student who just has a little gap in biology, my favorite subject, let's say. Why do I make that child sit through that class if they're ready to move on to the next level? And seat time and some of those credit things, and being creative with credit flex is what we try to navigate very well. But there's no reason, because that child's losing time. On the flip side, you have a kid who's really struggling, who maybe needs 2 years in that course to really understand it. We don't want to just push kids through and just accept that baseline either. So it can go both ways. By no means are we perfect at this yet, but I think we're invested in figuring it out for our kids. So,
most of this you already kind of touched on and you guys discussed, but I'll try to only give you new information. So I'm going to start with our 3 R's, which are relationships, relevance, and rigor. She mentioned relationships, restorative practices, just the way we communicate with one another. We have family groups, so groups of cross-grade students who stay together from freshman year all the way to graduation, and that's for mentorship opportunities. Maybe some of the seniors had a hard time finding their internships, and they can then tell the freshmen about the process they went through, so that's really helpful. We have mixed grade projects to make sure they're able to build relationships. If you're a freshman and you're only talking to other freshmen, your scope of influence isn't that wide. For relevance, our internships are obviously really important. We just finished our elective term where we had people from businesses, from the medical community come in and teach classes, elective classes, to our students, which was just extremely valuable for them. And even just throughout the year, we'll have experts come in and teach individual lessons, which is just, it's invaluable. And then if they do a project that's sort of subject specific, having somebody come in from a business, from NASA, for them to present to, gives them an idea of relevance. For rigor, it's pretty customizable. We're so heavily project-based that we'll say, all right, you need to prove to us that you understand the writing process, that you understand the respiratory system, and that you understand this particular mathematical concept. Show us how. So when you give them those bullet points, they can create a project, or maybe create something in CAD and 3D print it to show you how they know that information, which is neat. 21st century skills she's going to talk about in just a second. But we have the pillars of our school that have to do with innovation and personal agency and drive, a sense of community, collaboration, and I'm not going to step on your toes. And then competency-based, which we just talked about. It's not just about proving that you have the knowledge, it's about proving that you know how to use that knowledge to do something tangible. And so our standards kind of align with that.
And so I'm going to end on 2 things. How do we know it works? Because that's the thing we get a lot when you're trying to do different things. Everyone's like, why is this, we've done this forever, how do you know it works? And so this is what I call the fluffy side of biomed. And if you look at this really quickly, this is, we had an assessment done on our 21st century skills and what our kids feel and how it grows. So our purple line is where they start as freshmen, which is where we think, and then we've grown them out. And our school is really doing well when it comes to that engagement piece and the sense of belonging. And so the 21st century skill side is strong. I can flip this slide again. And then surveying our seniors that have left and are now in college, the feedback we're getting from them is crazy. There's a quote from one of them of just, it's not about what they learned actually. All the feedback is they know how to navigate college and they feel strong and confident. And they talk about their friends that they've met and how they're pretty much withering away. And so they're helping then teach them the things that we've taught them. And so it was nothing about content. It was everything about the 21st century skills and the STEM approach, which was really well received, I think, by all the staff. It was a good little, I guess, feather in the hat that this hard work is worth it. And then the ACT scores, which just show